Greetings everyone, welcome to my sketchbook. In the last video I drew this picture of Prince Adam laughing based on a really popular meme of a bunch of years ago, something that made me laugh. And for fun I showed you these things. This is a He-Man Hot Wheels car, and there's the Skeletor Hot Wheels car. As a bonus bit of information, though, this is the last page of this particular sketchbook. So, I'm going to start a new sketchbook. So this one was started in March, and well, it is done now. Got a brand new one here. And I think for fun, I'm going to transfer this backing page behind this new page, but I'm not actually going to do anything on that new page because I'm going to do a drawing on the cover of this. And because I only have these with the Masters of the Universe and that skunk dude, the stink or, which is a weird name to say, but anyway, so I went to the dollar store and I found this, which is an interesting character figure thing. This is ORKO, and yeah, so I think I'm going to do a version of that on this. So I'm going to kind of use this as a reference for my drawing. I'm going to set that there within sight and see what I can come up with. So okay, now instead of using ink for this, I'm going to use acrylic markers, and we'll see how that goes. So I think for fun, I'm going to pick out some of the colors I'm going to end up using. So yellow and red. I may end up using black. I don't know. There's white. There's orange. Looks like he has a pink scarf, the ORKO character, and this light blue. Okay, so that seems to be the main grouping of colors that I'm going to use. I'm going to move these dinky cars out of the way. I'm going to look at this figure again. So yeah, orange. Yep. Blue, so that'd be the ears and the hands. Yellow for the eyes. Red for the main body. And this kind of pink for a scarf. And then we can add other highlights to it as well. So it seems like a pretty straightforward kind of thing to draw. Maybe I should open this. Anyway, let's get this on the go. I think the first thing I'm going to start off with is the eyes. And with that, because they are yellowish, we're going to go with yellow. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit here. So I don't have anything pre-penciled. And see if that'll lock down enough. All right. Here we go. These acrylic markers are kind of interesting. Now, I don't know what version this should be. It's going to be kind of just my take on it anyway. I am familiar with the cartoon. I did watch a few clips of it just because I thought it'd be kind of fun. ORKO to me is a strange creature. I'm going to ramble on a little bit about some of this stuff just as an observation. Well, there is this kind of thing that happens with, well, let's call it media, where there is a preferred way for you to interact with whatever it is that they're doing. So probably as long as, you know, stuff has been made for television, let's say, they want you to feel like you're kind of part of it. And even probably the way that I talk on my channel here is as if, you know, I'm talking to you in some way. So you can imagine there was a point when they would start advertising and they would tell you about a product or something fun, and they would, they'd be your buddy while they're introducing you to whatever that thing is, as if, you should take their word on it. That's been around in television for as long as television's been advertising. How about that? But that's always a strange thing. So you've probably seen infomercials where somebody would say, hey, if you call within the next, I don't know, 30 minutes, you can get free shipping on something. Or, hey, if you call this number and you interact with, I don't know, Jim or whomever, they're going to get you the best deal possible. That's been around for a very long time, making you feel as if you're kind of part of whatever it is that's going on. Well, ORKO, there was a point to this. ORKO is one of those creatures that when you watch the show, and this happened a lot in other cartoons like Astro Boy and even She-Ra had this little thing that you were supposed to find in each episode, like a hidden creature. And in Astro Boy, at the end of the show, there'd be a report, and you'd have to find out what the flaws were, which was kind of a funny thing. What I'm doing here is I'm just kind of building the layers a little bit, and then I'm going to figure out where I want hands and stuff to be and stuff like that. I don't remember if ORKO's face gets revealed at any point. Probably did, possibly did. I'm not really sure. I don't really recall it. But I believe he's some sort of like a magical wizard-like creature. Now, from what I remember on the show, ORKO was kind of not really used to whatever was going on around He-Man. Probably one of the few creatures that, or beings, I guess you could say, that knew Prince Adam's secret. But I believe not from Eternia, which is where Prince Adam is actually from. We're going with that kind of a classic wizard-like hat here, and we're doing it in orange because that's the color of the thing that's in front of me. I'll let it kind of get a little crookedy looking, I think, for a wizard hat. So in some ways he seemed kind of like he was bumbling around, which, may not be super fair to say that. Ooh, we're back to this blue because now we're thinking of the hands. What was I talking about before? I believe I was talking about interaction. So I believe when you watch the cartoon, the characters would break the fourth wall. Like, so they would end up talking to you about what you saw in the episode, and then you'd have to try to find certain things that were going on and perhaps, learn whatever today's lesson was. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Gives you that opportunity to interact with the show. I'm only now just trying to figure out what I want going on here. I probably do this too much, but a thumbs up, that's what we're going to go with. They kind of have 3 fingers, this creature, and then the thumb would be here roughly. Okay, that's kind of messy looking. I like it. The other hand, actually, let's have it kind of off to one side, maybe floating down. Speaking of floating, I don't know if ORKO's legs were tucked underneath that thing, the smock or the robe, like if he just crossed his legs and flew around. So I don't know if he really walked around or how that creature really got about. If you know, let me know. It's not something I really can recall from the cartoon. And one last finger here. Okay. Now, red. He does have that circle on his chest. So I'm going to do the center part of the circle. We're going to make sure that it's fairly prominent. And I'm not going back in there with a black marker. Some part of this kind of reminds me of blacklight, maybe blacklight bowling or miniature golf, if you've ever done such a thing. Has that sort of chalky kind of look to it that you'd have with fluorescent colors and whatnot. And we want this to be kind of flowy too. But I didn't want to interrupt this O. ORKO. So yeah, let me know if you've seen the movie, what you thought of the movie, what were you expecting? Was there any surprises in there for you? I'm not into ruining that kind of stuff, so if you do make a comment, try to think that perhaps somebody may not have seen it, but you know, just let me know what you thought overall, how that worked out. Or just say spoiler or something like that in the comments, and then that way somebody could just avoid reading whatever it is that you wrote. This seems interesting, whatever I have going on here. Now we're going to let some part of this robe be the cuff. And then this one here will be the other kind of cuff. The sleeve gets a little narrow, let's say. Just leaving kind of spaces. Let's go with another little lump out of the robe there. Now, for some sort of trickery, because I don't know if he just floats around or does whatever it is that he does, but I'm going to leave a hollowish spot back here underneath. Yeah. A little bit more wrinkles of robe. Okay. Hand seems a little big. Let's do something a little bit more with this ear. I'll let that kind of twist out a little bit more. I don't know what kind of creature this is. I think there are different versions of it, though. Yeah, no, I don't remember that. I mean, this is like 40 years ago. The next thing that I think I'm going to draw, let's see here. I have this white marker. I'm just going to put a dot here, which only you and I will know that that's what my intention was. It's just a little accoutrement. Oh, you know what would have been cool? If I actually had him hold the sword of He-Man. Oh man, why didn't I think of that? That'd have been pretty cool. Well, do I have enough dryness there? So I'm going to try that actually. We're not going to see the thumb here. I don't know if I have enough room. That is still kind of wet. No. All right. Well, let's see if we can ruin this somehow with the sword of He-Man. Okay. We're going to have to probably extend the fingers a little bit here. Yeah. So we're going to go with this shape. We're going to have it kind of a spear head. We're going to block out that ear a little bit, I guess. Let's back this out just a little bit, I think, too, because this might get a little bit out of hand. Ooh, and that really is flowing really fast. Okay. You know, I own a few swords. I have Beowulf's, or Beowulf. I have the sword of Beowulf, which is kind of cool. I have, from Adventure Time, Finn's golden sword. That's kind of cool. But I don't own this one. This would be kind of an amusing thing to have this, especially in its sort of like more classic sort of form. I remember years ago there was a YouTube channel. I think it was called Man at Arms. I'll have to look that up. I do believe that's what it was called. And he would build the fantasy swords of, like, you know, some of those cartoons or some of those shows. And that was some pretty neat stuff. As I said, I did watch a couple of these cartoons for ORKO's sake. So I'm totally refreshed on the sword. Let's see here. Well, let's go with a... I don't know if this is going to be dark enough. No matter. Because it's kind of a two-handled sword. And I don't think that's really going to where I need it to be. So I'm going to go back over that after. But I just want to have the space already used up. So it's not quite a claymore. Let's go back to this. We'll work on that part. Okay, that's too wet for me to do anything with. I'm going to go back in here and kind of drown out some of the blue of that ear that I covered up. I think that's not that bad. Same with this. We'll go another quick little coat through that. Super duper. Okay. Oh, and you know what? Because I do this and I think it's funny, we're going to stick out a little bit of stuff here. I'm going to end up covering that up. This is something that I do way too often, is I like sticking out a pinky on stuff because I think it's funny. So that means part of this is going to have to be covered up by the handle of that sword, which still too wet for me to deal with that. So I'm going to tuck in more of this. Because it's unnecessary. Let's see here. What are we at? 20 minutes. So we're going to add some quick detail, and then we're going to cheat the system by perhaps adding some final detail with the black acrylic. Or maybe we'll just leave it like this, floating. That's probably the best way. What I'll do when that dries enough, I'll just put a couple little streaks in that as if that's part of the grip of that handle. Yeah. For fun, though, we are going to say today's date. June 8th. '26. Just like that. I don't mind that. Again, that's not dry enough. There could be a couple of other things that we can kind of add to this. But I think that's a great way to start off whatever I have going on with this sketchbook. I do want this ear to stick out just a little bit further, I think. And for fun, we'll do the comparable side over here. Okay. I think that might be it. Thanks for hanging out for a minute or so. It's an unusual thing to do, but I think it's fun to, put some doodles on the front of your sketchbook to kind of differentiate them. I think it's important to mark down the dates on things too, just so that you know when you started it. And with the other one, I'll put the date on when I finish that one as well, and I can set it aside. So I think that's an interesting thing to do. Is this dry enough? I think so. So over here I have a black acrylic marker, and I'm going to use that to add some grip to that. Now I think that handle is probably a little bit long, but that's okay. Like I said, I believe it to be a two-handed weapon. Maybe it needs to be a little longer, as if He-Man would use a much larger device. If you watched Voltron, you'll know what I'm talking about. As soon as the hero brings out whatever the sword is, that's when it's done. So when Voltron would show up, he would, as a collective, they would do battle with whatever the row beast was, or whatever that thing was, and unnecessarily do hand-to-hand combat. And then, after a while, they'd form the blazing sword, and then that thing would just get cut in half, and then they go home. Well, it's like that with most of those shows. You're waiting for this big moment. It's like, as soon as you get there, I mean, you know what? The show would be 2 minutes, I guess. Be like the opening sequence. Voltron would show up, cut the thing in half, and just be like, anyway, in days of long ago, we had stuff to do, or whatever. And anyway, got to get home because I got to go to the bathroom or have lunch, or whatever the thing would be. Yeah, it'd be a pretty short show. So I guess forget everything I was just saying. There you go. That's ORKO on the front of my brand new sketchbook. Thanks for hanging out. And I think that's going to be it. There's only a few other things, as I said, that I might do. It's not necessary to do that on camera or whatever. It's just, you know, would I do some background stuff or some greenery or whatever? Well, maybe I'll do that on camera. I guess we'll find out. But I'm looking forward to getting started on something on the inside of this anyway. So, all right. Have a great day. We'll see you again. Ciao for now.